Right, welcome to a special edition of the Manufactured Leaders podcast. Something quite different today. So this is to introduce the Manufacturers Ramble On event that we have scheduled for Friday, the 17th of November at 12 o'clock, 12:15 start. So really pleased, really excited by this. And look, today is just literally just to tell you a bit about it. Hope you can get involved. I have with me, well, I'll introduce myself and let these two introduce themselves. So my name's Mark Bracknell. I'm the Managing Director of Theo Recruitment. We've got Ollie Bell. Go for it,
Hello.
Ollie.
Yes, I'm Ollie Bell. I call myself a workplace wellbeing specialist, which is a ridiculous title because it's just a made up thing, isn't it? But I go into workplaces and help them look at their wellbeing strategies and their wellbeing projects to try and create environments and places where people want to be, where they can be themselves, where they can find the support that they need, and where they can thrive. So that's my background. Thank you.
My name's Adam Black. I'm a project manager at AR Power. This whole thing of mental health is very important to me. So this whole idea and concept that Oliver and Mark have jumped on is a bit of a baby for all of us. So it's going to be something that's very exciting to move forward with, and hopefully the weather's a bit better than the storm that's upon the northeast at the moment.
Yeah, exactly that. And look, firstly, thank you, Adam, because this was your idea. It's some of you brought to us. And I think it's tremendous. And you were initially the person that put me in contact with Ollie when he came on our podcast many months ago. So I think it's hopefully we've got a good team to get this sorted. Ollie, if you don't mind coming to you, just to ask this question because the podcast we did, the episode was really powerful, and that episode alone, I got a lot of messages that helped a lot of people. This is a really important event for a number of reasons to create funds, but also to create awareness, and it's create awareness of mental health. Why is this event and doing things like this important, would you say?
Um, it's interesting that people have reached out to you because for me, that tells me that there's a need for this still. Like we've been talking about mental health and mental health in society and about the unfortunate deaths from suicides. And it's so important that we continue to talk about that. But I feel like people watching the video that you and I did and people reaching out to you probably tells us that there's still a lot of space in this field. There's still a lot of gaps that need to be filled. I think the taboo and the stigma that surrounds mental ill health is getting better. I think we're probably doing a better job of talking more openly about it. I mean, looking at us three around this virtual table now, like 20, 30, 10 years ago, people who look like us didn't have these conversations. I know that my dad didn't. I know that his granddad didn't. And I think that's probably the fact that we're here today is probably credit to the effort that both of you and others in society have done to try and address the stigma and the taboo that surrounds mental ill health. But I think there's still a long way to go because although people feel comfortable to go, I'm happy to support you, I'm happy to accept you if you are still struggling, I think there's still a barrier in people openly talking about how they feel and how they're behaving. But there's also a gap in knowing what to do when people do come to us and tell us that they're not feeling great. And I suppose the point of this walk was to, as you say, raise funds for an amazing charity initially. That's kind of one of the things that drew me to Adam's idea because Andy's Man Club are an amazing charity built off the back of an unfortunate death. Andy, who died as a result of suicide. And I believe it was his brother or his brother-in-law, one of his family members, who'd started a peer support group, just an opportunity for men to get together and to talk about life and talk about mental ill health. And they're really, really powerful. I follow them on social media, and I think I think they meet every Monday. And I think this Monday just gone, they had over 6,000 people meet, 400 of whom were new. Like that was the first time going. Like that is really, really powerful. So getting people together to donate to keep things like that going is stuff that we still need in society. But another reason why I want to get involved in this is to try and offer some of my experiences and some of my insights that I've gathered throughout the years of talking about these things and talk about particular topics and have conversations with people who might be struggling. They might be business leaders, they might be managers, they might be people who are looking after other people. And sometimes looking after other people brings with it confusion, frustration, anxiousness, anxieties. And I think there's some probably quite simple techniques and tools that I could potentially offer those people on this walk, which might alleviate a few of those. Yeah. So that's why I'm involved and why I think it's so important.
Excellent. Thanks. I really appreciate that. And Adam, look, that you were the brains behind this idea, and I think it's superb. So thank you very much for organising it. why is it important to you? You know, why do you first think this would be a good idea?
I think just what Ollie touched on a little bit before, to be honest with you, Mark. I think the door is opening to a lot of men talking around mental health more, but that door's creaky. It needs a lot of oil on those hinges to make sure that it's open. Sadly, people don't talk, or people don't generally admit to themselves they have got a problem. Sadly, in 2015, my uncle lost his life to suicide. He didn't talk. He then sadly had a failed suicide attempt a week before he was successful in his suicide attempt. His friends had found him. His friends then didn't talk to anybody else. There wasn't any support there. They thought they could deal with it themselves as a close knit. Sadly, that wasn't the case. From that moment, my mental health changed path. I then got some therapy, which was unbelievable, and that opens your mind a lot to that. But the therapy essentially is just talking. Yes, you're talking to a professional, but they're just asking the right questions. They're listening. You're talking, you've opened that door, but you've only opened that door because it's a professional, so you think that's the right time to do it. However, in reality, a lot of people in life, and I've worked in manufacturing for most of my life until last year. I was part of a team at Dire Engineering to put in more of a mental health program, mental health awareness, of which I worked with the Newcastle United Foundation and Ollie's Mrs. Ashley to set up to be a game changer inside Dire Engineering, put that in place. And the amount of people that actually come forward and spoke to me about that. And we even had people on the shop floor who'd never spoken to each other, working in different departments, approaching somebody who was part of the mental health team, never spoken to them before, and really opened up. So the whole aspect of talking and this whole idea stemmed when I was driving from Gloucester back to Newcastle. I'd been in Gloucester working for AR Power. I was driving back up and I was driving through all the nice countryside on the motorway, just by myself, nobody to talk to. And I'm thinking, I wouldn't mind a ramble. And then I started to ramble. And it's like, oh, I could talk. And I could be outside in the countryside. That's quite mental healthy. Like, both of those things combine in one word. But that one word could then change, and it will change when we do this on the 17th. A lot of people's lives in that moment. There'll be a lot of people who've never seen each other, never met each other, didn't even know each other existed, will talk on that walk and probably will open up about things that they might have not known was in their mind at that stage, but was bringing them down or just wanted to be a part of it. So the idea and the concept, and then a little bit of tactical teamwork on that. Mark, really love your podcast. Really love the people that you speak to, the topics that you cover. So I thought that was then a good insight into the manufacturing sector to get those people who probably don't talk, whether that's that stigma of mental health, that they don't want to talk to other people, or they don't admit that they have got an issue. And then Ollie, I've worked with Ollie in the past, the Game Changer Foundation, probably 2016, maybe 2017-ish, on that, which then changed again, that sort of topic about working out, being a bit fitter, doing things. That completely changes your mindset. And then the subsequent work that Ollie's done since has then made putting all of this together and the whole thought process behind this, I'm going to say satisfying. Because I know when we then head out, hopefully on a nicer day than today, on November the 17th, whatever numbers we get, there's going to be people chatting. That taboo subject is going to be broken down, and that oil is going to be put on that door that is gradually creaking open. That will make sense. Is that?
I love that, mate. And you know what it is? It links into what Ollie says as well. You know, how often do you get three blokes talking about this type of stuff? Do you know what I mean? And the one thing I learned from not even the podcast, but just talking more about this type of stuff, is everyone's got the demons and everyone's got things struggling with. 8 years ago when I started the business, I really struggled, and it wasn't actually necessarily the business. It was the being a father for the first time, and I didn't really have anyone to talk to. I really struggled. Looking back, I was in a very dark place, and I just dealt with that myself. And yeah, some really tough days, sat in my car by myself with no one to talk to. And people probably just presume I might be struggling because he's stressful in business, but I think he's actually struggling to not being a worthy parent. And these are sort of stuff which not only men, but I think men don't deal with it as well because we're not good at talking. And I wasn't good at talking. I think now I'd probably have the mechanisms and support network around me to do so. But stuff like this, like you say, if 5 people turn up or 400 people turn up, it doesn't really matter as long as one person benefits from what we're trying to do. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It should be great. I mean, the details obviously will near the time will properly organise, but correct me if I'm wrong, lads, but I think the plan will be to meet at 12:15, set off from Whitburn. It's sort of like, I can't pronounce that. Salter Lighthouse. How do you pronounce it? I'm not local, man. Remember? Yeah. I'm a Sheffield man. I hope that do justice.
I was going to say, I'm a Yorkshireman as well. Let's go with our local Geordie. How do you say that?
Sauter.
That's the one. So exactly that. The plan will be set off. We'll have some topics that Ollie's going to give us, and it's just going to be some open sharing, open conversations. We'll probably hopefully speak to different people, switch who you're talking to, and just enjoy, like Ollie says, just like Adam says, just being out and about, walking, rambling, and really looking forward to it. So it should be great.
I've had just this week 5 people add me on LinkedIn saying they're looking forward to the walk, saying they're looking forward to the ramble.
Great.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
I think so far that there's about 30 people from about 30 or 40 different companies have clicked to come. So let's hope this thing roams arms and legs, and we just get because manufacturing is manufacturing Ramadan. I'm a supplier to the manufacturing network. Adam works in it. Manufacturing is probably a perfect sector to do this for because it is very male dominated. And actually, when we first spoke, Ollie, about the statistics behind mental health and the age range, it kind of hits exactly where what manufacturing's at. So traditional people who probably definitely aren't used to talking with this type of stuff. So it's the perfect industry to do this for.
I think so, and I'm so excited that both of you have jumped on this and that we're starting to have these conversations in society and in this industry. Because I mean, those statistics that we went over last time, and we were unfortunately talking about deaths, and I think that's the most powerful bit. But the statistics are the result of behaviours, aren't they? Really, like they're the result of a series of people behaving in a particular way. And those sorry about that noise. That's my that's Pinterest sending me an email for some reason. I think the reason why those statistics exist and the reason why there's a higher increase of men who die as a result of suicide are because of the behaviours, or because of the way in which we think men need to behave in society, and the construction industry, the manufacturing industry. These are kind of areas in which are dominated by men who believe that they shouldn't discuss how they feel, or sometimes they've not even got the way to be able to describe how they feel. It can be really quite difficult to be able to tell somebody what's happening in your head. And we're probably, I'm sorry that I might be going over the stuff that we mentioned in the podcast, but it's something I'm passionate about. It's the hangover of previous generations, isn't it? I talk about my dad and my granddad quite a lot, and about how they just didn't have the ability to be able to describe how they feel. And as a result of that, they ultimately buried a lot of things. They were also under those pressures that you mentioned there as well, Mark, which is around parenting. And we lived in a generation where our mothers didn't work. So that meant that the one person who brought money home to the house was our dads. And our dads, if they didn't go to work, our families didn't eat. And if they didn't go to work because their mental health was poor, then that would not have been accepted. Like, you can go to work if you've lost your leg or if you've broke your back. That's okay. I can see that. You're allowed to not go to work today. But you don't want to go to work because you don't feel very good. Well, no, not having that. You've got to go to work. So all of that kind of forms this cocktail of what we might have in some of these industries now. But there's modern problems as well that people who are in those companies and in those industries deal with, which is kind of, what does it mean to be a man now? It's really quite tricky to try and understand, how should I behave without causing an upset or insult to other people? I think that's something that a lot of men tend to really shy away from and be quite scared about. How do I behave so that I don't cause other people to be upset and insulted? It's difficult. Sorry, go on, Adam. Yeah.
If you think about just exactly what you're saying there, Ollie, And if we just reference exactly what Mark said before, Mark, you said there's 40 different companies have clicked yes. If we think of the ripple effect, if one person from each of those 40 companies comes, they feel different, they think, actually, this could be quite powerful. Not necessarily for the next event that we do. They might not come to another event, but that first event that they have come to with us, how many lives could then be changed from that one person thinking, I'll go for a walk and have a ramble, which then ties into exactly what Ollie said about how they behave, how they understand. That could then change so many people's lives, but just one person attending one event, one 10K ramble. When you think of it like that, that ripple effect could be massive.
And it's not just relating to kind of the ripple effect on the individual, let's say hypothetically men's life. Presumably the majority of the men would be in heterosexual relationships, which means that they may have kids, which means that all of a sudden their kids are going to be brought up better by dads who are mentally well. It also means that dads might actually go, you know what, for me to be mentally well, I want to be a dad, I want to be a parent, I want to be there for my kids, which means that I'm going to take more of the parenting responsibilities, which relieves my wife the ability to be able to go off and progress her career, which all of a sudden means that we've got women in society who are able to contribute better, and not better, that's a terrible way of saying it, who are able to advance more within the career. And that's one way that we can start to challenge things like our gender pay gap. So what we're basically saying is this Ramble's going to solve the world, really, isn't
it? Exactly that. 100%. And I absolutely can't wait, lads. I think it's me superb. And like you say, if it's something that we can do annually, why not? It's let's start it. So perfect. So to get involved, obviously I'll be, this will be on various platforms, but I'll put a link on each one. There is a LinkedIn link event on there, which is probably the easiest way, but it's not the only way because some people obviously aren't on LinkedIn. So if not, please contact any of us three. We'll be sending out information nearer to time, relatively straightforward. It's going to be meet at which lighthouse, Adam?
Souter.
That one at 12 o'clock. It's a fair sized car park, so unless we have 1,000 people turn up, we should be all right. If not, we'll be parking down the street. So, but let's create a bit of a movement. So I absolutely can't wait. So look, once again, lads, thank you very much for this. Can't wait for it. Looking forward to it, and not too long to wait now, is it?
No.
So
hopefully the storm's gone and the ground's dry.
Absolutely, it'll be sunny. Thank you, lads. I'll wrap that up. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Matt.